Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Gym Owners Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Stone. Over there's John Fairbanks. Hi, John.
Hello, Tyler.
Coming back from the sickest I've ever been in my life. We're recording this episode. Guys, I got a new weight loss tip for you. You guys need to get whatever I had. It's crazy. It's not fun.
What was it, 40 pounds? 40 pounds in 96 hours?
It was pretty nuts. All you got to do is shit, puke, be unable to eat or drink anything while you sweat and have migraines and want to die. I think Friday evening would have been the last time I ate something at that time. And I weighed 302 pounds, sick as a dog. By Tuesday, I was 277 pounds.
Hell yeah.
I was just dry, miserable, barely conscious. It was fucking brutal. So we're back. I'm here. I'm feeling better. I'm not feeling 100%, but I am feeling better. So this week we are going to get into, if you're following us on Instagram or Facebook, or you're in the Gym Owners Revolution Facebook group, we have a recent post that went out that's got a lot of traction. We've got a lot of feedback from coaches in the DMs and business owners about this, which is 10 tough coaching pills to swallow. And we're going to run through this list with you today, talk about some of our personal experiences and things that have kind of led us to making sure that these things are on the list. This job, coaching, owning gyms, coaching people, trying to do the business side of this. It's not always the most thankful job. It's not always the most intuitive job. And sometimes we've got to get ourselves out of the way and understand that, like, hey, this is just the way that it is. So before we get started, make sure you follow the show at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Tyler F. and Stone on Instagram, and John.
And you can follow me at jbanksfl.
If you want to work with us directly, go to gymownersrevolution.com. You want to get into the Gym Owners Revolution Facebook group, the link is in the show notes. Let's go. So first one, number one, and this is the one that I've kind of been really driving this one pretty hard, especially.
This was Tyler's voice. When we were putting this together, I'm like, all right, this is definitely Tyler's voice for sure.
Yeah. Which is, if your clients are not getting results, you need to look in the mirror. And that's a big one. And I live on both sides of this fence, and I need you guys to understand this, that this is the reality is a lot of these are some do or die shit. This because it's true, but this doesn't also mean that every single client that you're going to get to is going to be getting all these great results. But if your clients aren't getting results, you got to do it. It's up to you. I see lots of gyms, lots of coaches that they just coach, I guess, exercise. I don't know. They just coach some time. They're not coaching anybody towards anything. And if they are, I fail to see from outside, and I fail to hear from the customers them getting anybody anywhere or getting them to the thing. Because I would feel like, John, if I paid you to take me to Disneyland this week, and we went to Disneyland, you would be like, hey, I took these guys to Disneyland. I don't think these people are fucking getting anywhere. And I think what we see as a population as a whole nationally here in the United States is people aren't getting very far fitness wise. And yet the fitness industry continues to pop off, make a lot more money. We got lots of new clever ideas and billion-dollar fucking conglomerates running shit around here. And yet still we sit. So it goes down, in my opinion, to at the business level, and right underneath it is the coaching level. Mm-hmm. And I think they do go hand in hand. This one I is very near and dear to my heart, because as a coach, this is what I hunt for when I'm crafting programs, or my coaching philosophy is what gets people there. A perfect example, John, my Dudes Rock nutrition program, the nutrition only. I've had guys ask me when they get ready to start or thinking about starting, they say, well, does this come with like recipes and stuff like that fix it? And my first thought is, don't be a fucking, never mind. Don't be such a, I got my censor button. So don't be such a wuss about this, dude. Like I can tell you to eat meat and stuff, and you can assemble them in certain ways and cook meals that just have the stuff in them. Whatever, dude. I'm not here to hold your fucking hand. That's my first thing. It's like, man up, right? As time goes on, what I realize is, as I'm going through this program, I have a very high success rate for my clients in losing 15 pounds plus in 5 weeks. Very high success rate. But my job is not to just let those that fall behind. My job is to make sure this program has a better chance at making people successful. And fortunately, one of my most successful guys who did it, who had a very easy time coming up with the things he could do that fit the diet, he's just a really good cook. He's been a chef for 30 years, and he's just a great cook. So he did awesome. And I ran into him the other day, and I said, hey, like, would you be able to help me? And I'm not going to pay you any money for this. I said, will you have recipes that I'm guessing that you set aside or put into a different folder and stuff like that that fit this program. I said, can I have all of them so that I can just send them out to guys? Like, here's some ideas that you can work with. He goes, oh yeah, absolutely. And he absolutely did. Total type A guy.
Because he loves it.
He loves it.
Right.
And so for me now, that wasn't what I want the program to be, as a list of recipes, because this is a program for dudes.
Right.
And I just thought that seemed like some girl stuff, and I was going to let it be. And he said, no, he said it'd be perfect. He has them all. And we got talking about it. And I said, my job is to make sure that everyone who comes into this has the best chance of success. And that doesn't always mean that it's for everybody who only thinks the way that I think. And so now we're starting to fill that gap in this program. And that's exactly it. I could have said, I got 90% of my guys are crushing this thing. I don't care about the other 10, because it's them not coming committed. But it is my program, and it is my job to make sure these people have a chance. And I think that whether you're coaching classes, whether you're coaching for strength programming, whether you're coaching just one-on-one personal training, people need to be getting the outcomes that they came here to get. And it's your job to make sure you give them a very high likelihood of getting there.
And it gets back to like something we've talked about forever, which is establishing expectations ahead of time. What is the point of the thing that you're doing with people? And I would say 100%, Tyler, that the reality is how many of you, if you're honest, you step back, how many of you are just adult babysitting? Are you an adult babysitter? Are people coming for a time so they can have something to do for an hour, so their spouse or their children or their friends don't have to spend time with them and they can have something fun to do for an hour that keeps them busy? Okay. But if that's not what you think you're supposed to be doing, then what is it that you're supposed to be doing? What is the expectations that you set ahead of time of why is someone coming to me? Yeah. And you and I both naturally have fallen in the pocket of what is the expectations of everything that we do. And it lines up with who we want to help, which is the expectation is you're going to get stronger and you're going to lose weight. Like, that's it, period. So if you're going to do those two things, and for me, I do so much stuff with high school athletes where for me, it's also, there's a mental toughness. Like for me, it's like, you're going to get tougher mentally and we're going to do it through physical fitness. Well, great. I can now very clearly say, are my guys getting the results? And if they're not, then now it can only be my fault. Now, this, can we, playing devil's advocate, how many of us have had clients that just are not doing anything we fucking told them to do?
Yeah. Well,
and we do.
I think that takes us right into the next number 2 here, which is not every client is your ideal client. And that's the real deal. And I think there are two things that you need to do to address this. One, you need to be specific in your marketing and the outcomes that you're taking people towards and who you are taking towards those outcomes. I think that being specific is important. Being specific in your marketing, messaging, advertising, that's also a matter of the second part, which is setting expectations. Once people are in with you, you do need to set expectations for how they can be successful. Because in regards to the very first step, if they're not getting results, look in the mirror. Well, did I tell them in the very beginning what I needed of them, what this was going to take of them? Did I make that very clear? I go back on my programs and have to not rewrite, but every time somebody falls through the cracks or asks me some stupid question for the 5th time in a row, or my guys that tend to be in their own way a lot, they ask me the same question. I'll get the same shit within the first week. Can I replace this with this, with this, with this, or this with this? And I always tell them, I said, I'm sure as a part of a long-term diet strategy, that's totally fine. Or they'll ask, can I snack in between these things if it's a healthy snack? And I said, again, as a part of a long-term diet plan, yes, absolutely you could snack, but I need you to fucking just follow a plan. You haven't even made it a week of just sticking to one thing that's gonna fucking be just fine. And so, but what I go back then is in my week 1 stuff and my introduction documents that I send out to them, I have to explain that a little more clear, literally, like, you need to do this shit. Don't be just sitting here deviating and trying to replace shit. We'll get to that point at the end where we integrate fully into the life you want to live the rest of your life. But I need you to just do something different than what you're always doing right now. And that is a very important. So I go back and I recommunicate that in the beginning more firmly, more directly. Sometimes I have to just lay that in a message directly to them in my personal communications, like, looking forward to get you started. Here's a few things, but I have to continue to shore up these processes or else more people fall through. But there are people who you need to do that with every step, meaning who they are, what their expectations of the program is. I think everything needs to be laid out that way. And you need to systematically look at that. Not just like, oh, this person walks in, they have no idea what we really do here. They got no idea what they're getting into. You can't sell to everybody. You just can't.
And there's a lot of focus if you play this game long enough where you eventually will get pulled into the ads game.
Yep.
You'll have people that recommend, oh, you need to be running ads. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing this. And once you start running ads, you will continue to get colder and colder clients and leads that come in. They're not going to be perfectly aligned. It doesn't matter how good, like it just, there's only, and we talk about this all the time, there's only a certain type of person that is going to be on Facebook. There's only a certain type of person that's going to respond to a Facebook ad. Okay. So like understanding those people that we're targeting, it's therefore those people are going to be coming from a different spot than my best friend works out here. They said I should come. They came as a buddy and joined somebody. Like they're going to be more aligned with what you want to do. And if there's any client, and this goes for your coaches as well, if you're a gym owner and you're working with a client or you have coaches that are under you, if you think you want to fire them, you should have fired them 6 months ago.
Yep.
Like just period, hard stop. They need to be fired because you're going to cause people that are not aligned. They're just not lined up with what your shit's supposed to be or what you're trying to achieve. And if they are a troublemaker, right? It's 1% of your population is going to eat up 99% of your time. And 100% of the time you need to fucking cut bait and get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're not all of a sudden going to get better. They're not all of a sudden going to start listening. And just to be like, then fucking take off. Yeah. And it will make you, it'll make you happier as an owner. It'll make you happier as a personal trainer. And ultimately it'll make that person happier. Well, because now they're not going to be miserable.
Expectations, setting expectations, that conversation, it's two things. It's an ultimatum and it's also a threat. but setting expectations early on, it means like do this, behave this way, be like this, or else we won't continue this relationship. People that are too wishy-washy and fail to set expectations and fail to have those hard conversations, they just let these weird situations run on and cause them a lot of trouble throughout the entire relationship. And these people end up being a cancer in the gym. Mm-hmm. Next, John, results are not just about exercise. And we've touched on this one a bunch. It can be, if it's weight loss, it's nutrition, right? It's always it. If it's performance and gaining strength, it's also nutrition. If it's people showing up, adhering to the gym, adhering to a program, it can be about relationships. It can be about fun. This can be a matter of, is this system like optimized for the purest, most scientific outcomes, the best plan of all things, or are you coaching a human in front of you who needs to enjoy what's coming, needs to enjoy showing up, that needs to have fun? It's very, very, very important. I think that is one of the question we always ask is, what are you trying to optimize for? Right. And there's a John, if I need you to lose some weight, I could tell you to eat almost nothing and it'll work.
Or get sick.
Yeah. Or you get sick. Yeah.
You get really fucking sick.
No, my diet.
Yeah. So that one, we've touched on that one a lot. You guys, we have tons and tons of episodes on that. So the next one is important. Passion will not keep the lights on. Passion is important. I think you want your clients, you want the people seeing your marketing, you want those people to be inspired by, you want them to notice, you want them to connect to the fact that you're passionate about this job, about this project, about working with these people. Mm-hmm. But that on its own, I think a lot of coaches feel passionate about it and then they rest on their laurels and just hope that it's going to get people rolling in it. It's just not all, that's not the only thing that matters.
No, and it's, the problem is that there's pieces where you're going to passionately be poor or passionately do this until you close.
Yep.
And a lot of times too, we used to talk about this all the time early on, which is like the martyr syndrome. You have to avoid this martyr syndrome that can happen, which is like, no, money doesn't matter. All that matters is helping people get better and move better and feel better. And it's like, I understand that. But in order for you to be able to help more people, you have to be open.
Yeah. And
the fact of the matter is that if you want to do better and be and do better by your people and be able to take care of your family, you have to make money. And there's an amazing psychological thing that happens, which is if you charge more money, and this is not a pitch for you just to raise all your prices willy-nilly or just do it because two talking heads tell you to do it. But if you raise money, if you raise your prices, people that will buy that will just be better clients.
Yeah.
It's a universal truth. So this is where again it's you can be passionate, but be passionate about people that want to help themselves. Because the reality is that it will cause people to only you will run into more situations, and this will lead us into the next thing, but you'll run into situations where you care more than the people do.
Well,
And that
this
can never
connects to
happen.
the last one that we touched on too, is getting results. There's a lot of components that go into the clients getting results, right? But a lot of it is commitment, committing to it, having discipline. And one of the ways that people commit to a program, to a process is financially. It is
Yep.
important. So to roll into the next one, what are we at number 5?
Yeah. Free
Is it
attracts
free?
the wrong kind of people.
And I was going to add to this one, so does cheap. And there's just only so much we can fit on an infographic here. But free does attract the wrong type of people. I mean, offer a free week in your gym and see how well that goes. Especially if you're doing class, like it's just going to jam things up. I believe that cheap is just the closest thing to free. So if we're talking on a sliding scale, it's just closer to free.
Mhm.
Most expensive, let's be honest, it might attract the right kind of people depending on what you're doing, what you're trying to deal with. But whatever it is people do want to invest in themselves and they do want to make a commitment. And spending money on a thing, a new thing, a different thing, it is a form of commitment. And boy, what a great way for you to be on the receiving end of some fucking decent earnings and some good committed clients by having some products. You don't have to simply charge more, but have some products that are of a higher value. And it
Did you
doesn't mean charging more on its own in a vacuum. It doesn't mean just quadrupling your gym membership. It does mean you need to offer something that people will identify as being worth more. And if for those people that are looking for a $40 membership, they're just not going to think that this $200 or $600 or $800 product is for them. They're never going to identify the value in that, and that's okay. You can offer stuff for those people that are of a lower price, but if everything that you do is cheap, you're going to be doing a lot. You have to do a lot of business that is low value, and I don't think that that's disrespectful or like hyperbolic the way I'm saying this. Like if you are affordable, like super cheap, you have to do a ton of work. You have to to make the same amount of money, you have to do a lot of things and you have to deal with a lot of people. And that's I just don't think that a passionate, connected business with a high likelihood of success, some hands-on, good quality service, I don't think that that can be scaled up while the price still remains cheap.
Well, and it gets back to this idea of what type of gym are you? What type of coach are you? What type of personal trainer are you? Where it is, if you're just an access place, then you cannot honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, goes back to our very first point, which is, are clients getting results? Or are you just a building that houses equipment and you allow people to rent time to use the equipment? That's all it is. It's a $40 a month rental so that I can come in and use the shit that's inside your place. Because it's a lot cheaper for me to pay you $40 a month forever than to go and try and buy my own equipment and house it in my garage. And so that's where it is. It's you have to be able to look. It's like do results matter? Do I want people to do better? Am I about making people healthier, people stronger, for them to be able to do better themselves? And if that's true, for you to be successful at doing that, you have to get enough money to make sure that the service you're providing is high enough quality. And that's kind of where it really comes down to, where it's like, if you get paid more money, you can do better things. And the principle is across the board, where it's like, um, I've worked with like military schools before, right? When the military school is a military school, parents don't give a fuck if there's hot water or not. You know why? Because they're going to send their little shit who they don't fucking like or care about anymore. And they're just a goddamn nuisance. And it's like, I'm going to pay someone $30,000 a year to get you the fuck out of my house. And now you're their problem for the
Yeah.
next 4 years. You're going to live there, get fucked. But mom, it's cold. Like, it's cold water and it's not nice. And there's shit on the walls. It's like, it's fucking military school. Shut the fuck up.
Well,
Right.
it's a cold place.
That's it, right? But as soon as the military school says, hey, I don't think we want to be as military anymore, and we want to appeal more to private school families, you can't have shit on the walls now.
Yep.
You now are trying to reach a different demographic, which means now you don't get away with shit. You better have hot water. It better look clean. It better be nice. You better have enough staff. The same rules apply here for you.
And on the inverse, like looking anecdotally at the market that I'm in right now, because all our basic access gyms all charge the same amount of money. I know this is a smaller town, so I know of let's say the people and families with the certain last names that have all of the most money, right? Let's just be real. If I were to list the 70 families, whatever, right, the 70 people with the most money in this town who go to gyms, did you know, John, that I think without a single exception, every single one of them and their kids falls into either private personal training, very expensive, it's the only thing that they do, or they go to the most expensive gyms that you can get, regardless of what they are, whether it's a CrossFit gym, they are all spending the most money. They're none of, I mean, I don't ever see any of these people at the cheap joints. Never. Absolutely not. Without exception.
And this is why we build, going through episodes where we talk about how do we promote sales? How do we promote how you sell your services, your packages, how you communicate with people that are coming to buy something from you? This is why we give them choice, because a Tesla truck having fucking fanciest, buying the new iPhone every time it comes out, the fanciest shit buyers, they're just always going to fall into that. It's a psychological piece. And you can't always guarantee that somebody drives a beater, then pays top dollar and buys the most expensive groceries, the most expensive shit. You don't know how people decide to spend their money, but you have to give people the opportunity to fall into their normal psychological buying habits. And yeah, big fucking surprise that and it's just because that's what they do.
John, they all drive the most expensive cars too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sure. So if you're only offering a single product and it's cheap, like, boy, you seem to be really missing out on a lot of opportunities here. Because if this person just ends up in your world, they will buy the most expensive thing because that's what they do. They buy things that have value. They want to have good experiences because the money is not that important to them. The money exists so that they can have a good experience. So you're only going to offer them the fucking bottom of the barrel. That sucks. So for those of you, at least if you're trying to craft your business model as a whole, in my opinion, that's a centerpiece factor. So let's jump to the next one here.
Oh, can I talk about one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see Equinox started their $40,000 per year program?
Yeah.
$40,000 per year. Now that may sound crazy to you, but we were helping a CrossFit gym so many years ago.
Was it 30 or 35?
It was 30. I think it was definitely between 30 and 35,000 was that membership that we had crafted for that gym, and they successfully sold.
Yeah, it was a custom kind of offering for somebody. It was just a one-off situation that we were like, let's try to put this together. We just put it on the list. We build from the top down, and dude goes, yeah. He was just a person that always bought the nicest, most expensive thing. And we just expected it to be a price anchor. Like, oh, fuck. But yeah, to just take in fucking 30 some $1,000s off a singular product was nuts. Now Equinox I saw a bunch of other stuff on some of their holdings and bankruptcies and such, but I think that's how business at that scale works. All those businesses seem to make money and then be bankrupt and be fine. So I don't know what to read into about that,
but still their attitude, right, is $40,000, put your dick on the table kind of a situation where it is the pitch, right, is a membership that will help you live longer, with phrases like longevity and wellness and medicine, biotech, nutrition, merging. It's
just a bunch of advanced metrics and then a few other. It's kind of funny. I let them figure it out, and then we can reverse engineer it into maybe a $10,000 version that's a little more viable. But the next one is your personal life affects your business. This is we go a lot of directions with this, but I do believe this is a burnout component, because I think there's a lot of things that go into coaches and gym owners that get burned out. Your personal life, whether it is your relationships with your family, a lot of this stuff, they pivot around you feeling fulfilled as a whole, you being happy, you being financially secure. And a lot of these things start to come. Guys, if you're happy with your work and you're attracting the right clients, right? Your clients are getting results. You feel fulfilled. You are passionate about it, but you're making a lot of money. You're actually making a lot of money. You're not overworking yourself. Um, Now all of a sudden this job is fulfilling and you don't have to drag a bunch of bullshit into there. When I see gym owners and coaches that are starting to burn out, it's because this is like the least important thing to them, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just the thing that they're doing. The passion has burned out because it was all that was holding the fucking thing together at some point. And it's tough to stay passionate when you're fucking broke and your
Correct.
wife's on your ass. And then your kid can't get your kids the things they need to get. And everything is hard. And it's all because of this little things not producing for you. If everything is working for you, it's a lot easier to keep your personal life in check. That's not 100% true. But like as a whole, you need to either keep these things very separate or you do have to take care of yourself, which means don't work too much, don't overwork. Sometimes you need to delegate. You cannot take everything on yourself. I think that that's um, this is a very, very, very important thing for your business to be around for 10. It's as important as your reputation,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it is one of those things where, again, your personal life, it's like having your house in order. And it is one of those things where you can't just neglect everything because it does bleed through. This is that age old concept where it's like if you're successful in the classroom, you can be successful on the field and vice versa. It's like just positive shit stacks on top of each other. You
Yeah.
just because and is it possible to be a total piece of shit and still be successful in other areas?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what happens eventually, Tyler? The
It'll catch up to
wheels, it absolutely 100 fucking percent, the wheels will come off. So you cannot. And how many gym owners do we know who do not have gyms that we would deem as being successful gyms financially that stop working out, that stop taking care of themselves?
you. Yeah.
And for us, it's always a sign of, oh, you're silently quitting. You're quietly quitting. You're hoping for the next pandemic. You're hoping for the excuse to close your doors.
Correct. Next one. Nobody that pays you cares how smart you are. And that's real important. You can get all fired up about your latest seminar that you did, or this new online course that you did, or some new dorky coaching philosophy or strategy that you're just enamored by. This happens. What I get into this, I'll see a new exercise that I think is cool, and I'll try it. And I'll have a few clients try it, and then I'll like really just jam it down everybody's throat for a little bit, just because it seems kind of fun. That's fine if it's one exercise, but when it's your entire coaching philosophy, it's very, very, very tricky. And on the other side of this, people don't really hire you based on your like truly like your level of expertise. They hire you because they connect to who you are and the likelihood of you getting them towards their goals. That's the first thing. Now, education and not being a dumb fuck, like that is part of it, in my opinion, for a lot of people. But if I'm being totally honest, there is a lot of people who are smarter than me who I lost all sorts of respect for around 2020. Like people who were way, way, way smarter than me who felt the need to tell me and told people, everybody on the internet all the time how dumb we were.
Mhm.
And it's like, all right, you got fucking 10 years of doctoring. Like, good for you, buddy. And yet you're wrong. And yet they were wrong.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. I lost a ton of respect for a bunch of smart people because their idea of how we as a system, as a society, as individuals need to act. I was like, well, that seems like a bit of an overreach. You can kind of fuck off on this a little bit. And then, well, you're just uneducated. Guys, we all got a lot of that stuff thrown your way. If you were like, I don't believe that we should fire people if they don't get vaccinated, that seems crazy, right? And there's literally smart people, doctors, we're telling people 4 years ago that that's fucking wrong. We're just stupid. And when you're a coach and you're doing the I know it all, I know because I'm the coach stuff, or if you're a lot of your marketing is about here's why in this system and super intense dork stuff, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. The fucking curtains have been pulled. The fucking education system is just not really what it as the higher education system is not really what we all thought it was. I think that now we sit in a point where people are dealing with individuals now. I'm going to a gym. It's about that gym. It's about that coach. It's about my experience. We are working on this together. I don't need to go to a gym and say, we just, from the wonderful high clouds of science, the lightning of science will strike down upon you and you will be doing the most perfect things that will get you fit. Nobody cares and nobody wants that.
Oh, and the fact is that this is understand again, going back to psychology is Why you want people to talk about themselves, right? If you're working with someone, you want to ask them, right? What do you want to achieve? Why are you here? What's important to you? Right? If you do those things, you now allow the person to talk about themselves. The issue with social media is that it allows you to talk about yourself as a coach. And but if you're a coach and a personal trainer or a gym owner and you're trying to sell something, you have to stop making it about you. And it's very tempting to make it about you, to be the sage on a stage, right? How many of you had a teacher or a coach in your athletic careers and in school that was a total cunt? How many of you? I guarantee you, you can count more that were absolute sons of bitches that you wouldn't even piss on if they were on fucking fire than you
Yeah.
can count great ones. And the reason is they're in a spot of authority and they have power over you. And people that are weak fucking people then take advantage of that and they make it about them and they make it about how smart they are. And now they get to bestow that wisdom upon you. And all of those things have nothing to do about the person receiving that information. Because if you really cared about the person you were talking to, it would always go back to them. It's
You guys
about
ever
them.
you guys ever go to like a Midwest restaurant, just an average small cafe, that type of stuff, and get a server, a waitress or waiter who's like a bit too performative? Like you can tell they're running bits.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
sucks.
yeah.
Like I don't want your fucking material. I wanted to have an okay experience. This is about me and us getting this food and our experience,
Mhm.
not you coming in trying to like make us all like we're supposed to all go, man, this person is great. I any server that's trying to make you like really love them and think that they're great sucks. It's miserable and you do not want them. And I think there's a lot of coaches that get like that. It's a little too performative. Get people, let them have a good experience, but it's about them, not you. Next one. Selling is part of the job.
Every person in your gym, right? Every person. And this is the piece that we keep driving home. There's not a salesperson in your business. And it cannot be unless you're a solopreneur and you're the only coach, the only person in your business is all that you do, and you're the only person, then guess what? You got to be selling. But you cannot be the only person that's actually trying to make money in your business.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and, and you can't be adverse to it because that's the worst part. And that's the most common that we see, Tyler, is that people are just like, well, it's selling is a 4-letter word. It's yucky. It's icky. I don't want to be a salesperson. It's like, oh, this goes back to like, oh, you are a martyr and you actually don't want to eat.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I think there's two sides of this coin, but excuse me. But I think I see a lot of people just don't like having to, on one side of it, there's people that talk too much about how smart they are.
Mhm.
The other side of it, I see a lot of people that don't want to have to talk about themselves or how to, they just don't understand that selling is about the person in front of you, not you. I do think the sales in regards to fitness is different, and I'll die on that hill. You know what I mean? We don't have to be over here like jamming shit down people's throats, like really having the slickest shit to come over with people's like aversions to buying or their what's the, like if people are resistant to anything, we go, we got to have the perfect thing. Go out and, well, why don't you just get me your, what do they call, what was the Hermosi one? Well, just give me down your bank and routing number.
Well,
You
just
know,
open up. Don't you have an app? You don't have your wallet?
let me see
Well,
your
you got your
banking app.
phone,
You
right?
know,
Go to your banking app and tell
what
me
do you
your
mean?
routing number.
Oh, you got to go talk to your husband. What does he make all your decisions? What's he wipe your ass for you? Like these like this type of like really pushy sales shit. It doesn't work, but I think that that's why a lot of coaches and gym owners, that's their impression of selling. And it's just not the case if you get a little bit ahead of this. And this is the thing that we talk about a ton, which is people have a hard time selling because they're not fucking selling anything. They're not trying to sell anything actually. What are you doing? What are you selling if you're selling just a gym membership? Let's be honest, what is that? It's one thing. Well, that's not a choice. John, if I open a Toyota dealership, I have SUVs, I got trucks, I got cars, I got this, I got that, I got lots of stuff. If I open the Toyota Corolla store, it's going to be very fucking difficult for me to sell. I only have red Toyota Corollas. Now, some people it's going to connect to, but some people are going to go in and go, "Hmm, like maybe I'd like a little more, a little less, or I need a little room, and this is the only thing you got." And you're never going to drag a person who does not want a red Toyota Corolla. You're never going to close them in your Toyota Corolla store, not the red one. So I think that a lot of people, if you're only selling your gym memberships, one product, one option, one tier, it has too narrow of a scope. You don't have to fully generalize and be everything to everybody, but people want choices. And if they go into your spot, they're just trying to jam all of the preconceived notions that they have, all the things that they predicted about this experience, all their expectations about what it is or could be for them. And they walk into your gym and they see it and they see the price and they have to compress all of that into that situation and decide if it's worth it. And if you give them a little bit of choices, some of them will appeal more to them than the others. Now they have a little bit of momentum. They've already made a decision. I don't want this option, but I do like this one more. That fundamentally being built into your sales process is going to make this stuff flow so much more smoothly. But if you're
And
just standing there holding a sign, here is my one thing, it's going to be pretty fucking hard to sell that.
yeah, because more than likely what you're going to do is you're not going to hold that sign. You're going to put that sign on a stick and you're going to go inside and try not to, and you're going to avoid any type of sales conversation. You
Yeah.
want one thing to sell because then you don't have to sell it. Somebody doesn't
Yeah.
want it, then it's on them and it's not your fault.
Because you're
And
not
this
going to
is,
sit there if you're the guy that decided to open the red Toyota Corolla store. He's not going to sit here and go, oh, for the 100th time, this person's going to come in and they're not going to want to, he's going to want a blue one, or he's going to need more fucking, more room in the trunk. I just don't want to do this. And that's what I think a lot of gym owners get to at this point and say, but they don't understand that more options is the answer. A better process is the answer that allows the expectations and marketing that you get to do beforehand to be more productive. People come in with a little more primed to buy, and the conversations that you have, that gets them moving versus trying to just force them into one box. It sucks.
and moving is the deal. It's action oriented. Selling is a verb, right? The idea that it's like you are doing something. You are now working, and that action oriented piece is it's a dynamic experience where you are now working with someone, giving them the ability to buy. And this is a super shitty, like I remember when I heard it the first time, I was like, oh God, that's like, it's from a marketing perspective, but it's like selling is like the most noble profession.
Oh
And
Christ.
but hear them out, right? Hear the concept out. The idea is that you are helping people get something that they want.
You're the
Like
great
it's like
facilitator.
you are connecting people to, like, they have a need and you are giving them the opportunity to be able to fulfill that need. Now, there's so much opportunity for evil, right? Of like getting people addicted to shit because you're going to sell it. But at the same time, it is like this idea where it is you are doing something, you are doing something for your fellow person. And if you really come back and zoom out from how we look at how a gym owner, personal trainer, coaches, how you should function in your communities, which means generational, long-lasting change that will change communities potentially for generations and for the future. This is for me, it's the definition of what it means to leave the world a better place than where you found it. And in order to be able to do this successfully, you have to be able to sell your shit. And you should be so passionate about it, going back to your passion, where it is you have to tell someone about it. You want to talk to everybody about it, because why wouldn't you want them to have what you are so passionate about them having? And that sheer mindset of that change, where it's like, I don't want to avoid people. I feel so strongly that these people are going to achieve, that you are going to achieve all these things. It's possible, and I can help you get there. Why the fuck wouldn't you want to get in someone's face, talk about it? It's like fucking Penn and Teller, right? Penn is the like ardent, militant atheist. And he talks about all the time where, as he's gotten older, he appreciates the fact that Bible thumping people come up to him and they want his soul to be saved.
Yeah.
Because he goes, because that means it's that important to them. And he goes, I believe it's bullshit. He goes, but the fact that they believe that they want to help me because they believe that so strongly, he's like, I can connect with that.
Yeah.
And that's how passionate you should be about it. Now, I don't know, you need to be like the Mormons and go door to door and ask people to come to your gym, but it does work.
But I'll tell you this, and there is a line where people do have to be interested. There has to be some interest on the other party a little bit in regards to sales. But you're absolutely right. Fitness is important to you. Helping people get fit, helping the people in your community get fit is important to you. You better be singing that song, man. So you can start play the Pied Piper role a little bit more. Like a lot of gyms, I do think kind of just hide out and hope that their sign or fucking their location will carry most of the legwork for them. It's just, we'll get into that one when we get to the last one as well. Next one, no one hires a not a shape trainer. That's a big one. You got to keep it tight. Keep it tight, guys. You can't completely fall apart. You do not have to be leaned with ab veins and everything like that all the time. But by God, if you don't look the part, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. You don't, it doesn't have to be perfect for you all the time. Again, your personal life is a part of this. It affects your business. And if you don't have your house in order, it's going to be very tough for somebody to hire somebody who they don't want to look at all like. It's not like me. If I'm a big, huge, tall guy who's really, female clients probably don't want to look like me, but I don't look like shit. Okay. And that's a lot. At least somewhere you need to look like you do fitness and are fit. You don't have to, choose your specific type of fitness. If you're a strong man, it doesn't mean that you can only force people through that, but you cannot be sloppy. I see coaches that literally look like they don't work out everywhere. And it's embarrassing.
And it is a thing too, is that fine line that, like you said, it's like either your client wants to have you be their trainer because you are embodying something that they wish that they could have or that they're striving for. There's also, understand there's an element too where it's like, because for sure, Tyler, this is going to be you all the way. It's, well, who's your trainer? The fucking huge dude over there. Like, oh, sweet. Like, it's like, yeah, I may not look like him. I may not have any desire to look like him, but I'm proud to say that big fucking dude over there, that's my guy.
And he looks like he knows his way around the gym. And
Correct.
for a lot of people, sometimes we treat it like one of the roles we have as a coach is to be somebody's liaison with fitness. You're a concierge to the gym. You're the person between them and all the bullshit on the internet telling them what to eat and how to live and what they should do in the gym. Person doesn't know, they're going to go to you because instead of them wandering around aimlessly, feeling like they're not welcome, not knowing what to do, they're getting a tour every fucking week. Few tours a week, getting walked around by the fittest motherfucker in the room at the time or the most jackedest dude in the room. Like that now makes them feel welcome, and it makes them feel like the things that they're doing in those moments are productive. And that checks a couple pretty serious boxes for people that are very new to fitness. And I think people don't understand the comfort that people seek when they hire somebody. And it's one, likelihood of success is one of them, but also like you can make somebody feel comfortable in the gym by being with them and helping them the whole time and like looking the part. Nobody else in that gym is going to think that you don't belong there because ain't nobody going to come up to me when I'm working with a client and fucking make fun of them or anything like that. You're as safe as you could possibly be if I'm taking you around the gym.
I'm going to stay in the psychological side of things because I've been there all episode. There's another big part where it is, yes, people that are going to come to you and want to work with you in your gym. Let's say you're not a CrossFit gym. Seems like CrossFit's going to attract people that were, for the most part, were athletes at some point. And I understand that there's nuance there. But the majority of your people that are going to come and work out in these gyms, the majority of Americans don't have a gym membership, period. Like hard stop, they don't. They've not worked out in a gym. But and then you take it another step further, which is then, okay, if the majority of people don't have gym memberships, but now they're interested, whatever you've done, whatever part of life that they're in, they're ready to step forward, try and take care of themselves. A lot of people aren't going to have been former athletes. They will have been other types of humans. How have regular people been treated by good looking, healthy, jacked people most of their lives? They're going to have been treated like shit, dude. Yeah. Like it's like jocks have the reputation of being fucking assholes to the band and theater and dork kids for a goddamn reason, because that's the truth. So there is an element now that you have people that start to, like, if you are not an asshole, then you need to be jacked so you can continue to be able to show people that it's like, listen, you can be a good human being and be fucking ripped and take care of yourself. And you don't just get to have a pass, which is, well, I'm a dork, or I like Dungeons and Dragons, or I like fucking Pokemon cards. Therefore, I could be a fat, sloppy fuck that has terrible psoriasis.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, like you don't have to do, like you can be fucking Hugh Jackman and be able to win a goddamn Tony Award, sing and dance and still be Wolverine and do steroids. And you can do all those things and be that awesome, nuanced of a human being.
Yeah. I think this is an opportunity we always talk about setting expectations. over delivering on the expectations are tremendous opportunity. Choosing where you over deliver and where you can exceed the expectations of somebody who comes in and is about to do business with you or when they start is a great opportunity. And one of them is being fit, but also being nice.
Yeah.
Right. It really is. So if you are fit, you really need to make sure that you are exceptionally welcoming. If you're big and jacked, it's my job to be as nice and as
Mhm.
good of a conversationalist, to speak well and be compassionate and not to be a hard ass all the time for people that don't need that at that moment, that need confidence and they need somebody that they can trust to take them through there. People really, really, really need that. And that is a lot of my job. Like that's a lot of it. And it's very, very important to me that when people see me in the gym, even when I'm not coaching people, I have to make sure that I'm nice to everybody. That because if someone goes in and I'm lifting, and if I don't have much, not wearing a lot, and I'm lifting and it can be intimidating and whatever, I cannot be the guy that's dropping the weights. Go, yeah, fuck yeah. Not in the gym where I coach people. I
No.
can't do that. I cannot be intimidating, even though it's a not related to my, I'm not trying to sell this person. My behavior while I'm within those walls needs to be nice to everybody. And that's sometimes it's tough to do because some people are dicks. But like I have to be when someone walks in, I can't just stay in my AirPods jamming out and doing my thing. Someone walks by and says, "Hey, how you doing?" Needs to be a smile, a hello. They need to feel acknowledged. And if people feel acknowledged by you and you're friendly regularly, that now warms them up. If you are just you doing your own thing, looking the way you look, they will put their own preconceived notions. They'll project all of that onto you. And you're fighting an uphill battle already. So you might as well get that out of the way right away. It's very important. So be fit, but you also got to be nice because your fitness is intimidating as well.
Oh yeah.
They don't want the other. They don't want nice and fat because they know lots of people that are nice and fat who can help them stay fat. You know what I mean? They could just not go to the gym and be around plenty of people who are nice and fat. So last one, word of mouth is not a marketing strategy. And I'm about to die on this hill because John, how many gyms have we talked to that primarily their marketing strategy is word of mouth?
They
Quite a few.
say it's word
They
of
say
mouth.
they say it's word of
Uh-huh.
mouth. And what that really means is we just don't market. We don't even ask for referrals. We don't have they have no system for getting new people. Not even a system. They don't even have they're not even trying stuff. This is a word of mouth. Yeah, we get all of our people through word of mouth. It's okay. So you just don't do anything. That really is what you're saying. And that is one of our top number one red flags as far as we talk about fixing the low hanging fruit in a business. If you tell us that, we go, okay, perfect. So we're gonna uh start. You have to start trying, right? We're gonna start using your emails. We're gonna start at least building a social media plan that's around your products. And so what do you have to offer? Okay, let's reverse engineer this. Here's a marketing strategy, at least for the organic stuff. Here's we're gonna do some referrals. Let's do some narrow deals here, but you have to try. And word of mouth, people who say, yeah, they lazy gym owners and lazy coaches who don't want to try to sell, who are putting no effort into it. They tell us like it's a source of pride that nope,
Mhm.
all of our marketing comes from word of mouth.
Yeah, we don't actually spend any money on marketing. We don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you making enough money?
Are you making so much money that you're fine then? Like that you really don't even care? Like you couldn't if there was a way for you to make twice as much money and not be unethical, like you just wouldn't do it right now because you're so flush. And it's yeah, all of them fucking would. All of them are at a point. Every gym who's saying this is hard up. That's the problem. They're all hard up because they're going like, how do I get more people? That people don't want to admit that they're failing, that they're lazy, or they don't understand marketing. And it can be one of those things. It can be all of those things. They don't want to admit that, but in turn, that's not a cause for you to be proud. Like they just don't want to admit that it's a bad thing. Do not let people convince you. Do not convince yourself that the fact that you don't actually know how to turn on new members, like you just don't know how to get new members if you needed to, that's a good thing for you as a business owner. That's fucking delusional. That is the same thing as a person going like, yeah, I don't really know. I don't even really do anything and I just lose weight. It's like, okay, but you're overweight. Like, what are we doing here? This is pulling levers to be able to get you leads, to be able to get you new business, and to be able to earn you more money. Knowing what levers to pull and having them in place is really, really, really basic stuff. Not the specifics. I'm just talking the fucking idea that you need to be able to push a button and hope that people come in. Instead, these people are not even pushing buttons. There's not
And
anything. It's a true bury your head in the sand moment. This is the business equivalent of an overweight person who's not looking in the mirror and won't get on the scale for years.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, well, I guess you must just be happy with how everything is. Cool. But I don't know why you're listening to this podcast then if everything's going so well.
because we're dashingly handsome. That's
That's
why.
true. Bald. like male pattern baldness in men.
Yeah, we're the poster children. There's really driving home that one point that you mentioned, Tyler, is that it's this idea where you have to know why. If you don't know why something is happening in your gym, like you don't know why you're getting new sales, you don't know why you're losing people, that is more of a problem than losing the people. Like losing the people is bad, yes, obviously, but not understanding why people are leaving you are missing the whole fucking point. Is it something you can solve? It's something you can't solve. And if you're getting people, why? Did a local place close? Did you go to a networking event? And this is the mistake that I think I feel like I when someone hears the word marketing strategy, they only think digital marketing. They only think Facebook. They only think ads, maybe keywords for Google that you've tried one time and they fucking got fleeced. So it's because it's so fucking expensive and you saw no return on it. Or you ran ads once and you put a whole bunch of money behind it. It wasn't successful. So fuck that. Like a long time ago, we dedicated an entire episode all to traditional marketing, non-digital marketing. And the fact is that I totally respect the idea that, your grandpa that had his local store didn't do any type of advertising. He did business with a firm handshake, eye to eye with people and was successful. You're not fucking him. And if you, and nor are you having sex with him, you're not that guy, right? You're not that person because there's so many tricks of the trade that the previous generations did naturally within their communities that you have no fucking idea why they were successful. And I think that it should be a renaissance and a resurgence that goes back to that in-person level networking and marketing. And we talk about it all the time of this idea of hyper localization, working locally in your community, whether it is I'm going to go. There's so many goddamn things we've talked about, whether it's coaching and in networking groups and doing these things that are in person. That is a marketing strategy.
Yep.
You just like you said, Tyler, you cannot sit back and just hope someone walks through the door and be like, well, how many leads do you get on average per month? Well, I don't know. Like, we get, less than 5 a month or whatever it is. All right. What are you guys doing right now? Well, nothing. It's like, so you just keep hoping that people just happen to be coming by, happen to want to be fitnessing, and they happen to come across your spot.
And good word of mouth is important.
Of course.
Let's make that very clear, right? I think when I look back to when Megan has started doing personal training, her first, second, third clients, right? Every single person that she operates with, like coaches with regularly right now, can probably 90% of them can be traced back to those three. And if not directly via some sort of connection to a connection to a connection. But that's not the only thing that's happened, right? Now what it is people will come in and go, oh, I saw this person and they look so much better, right? Or I saw your post about this person. Word of mouth is a thing that moves. Word of mouth is not just a referral or something like that that runs on its own. It's a thing that I think will enhance your existing marketing content strategy. If we're talking staying in just the content space right now, that's a way for you to amplify the word of mouth, because word of mouth doesn't tell people where to fucking go. Doesn't tell people when to buy or that there's urgency. Word of mouth doesn't actually have any of the other components that a good sales or marketing strategy has that is going to convert. Word of mouth is just people talked about you, and that's great. It's these whisperings, these little rumblings about it kind of underpins your reputation. I think that's wonderful. But where do they go? How do they get a hold of you? Does that exist? When people are talking about your coach, that's great. Do they say, and if you want to get a hold of them, shoot them a DM or text them at this number on this date, and make sure you do it before, like, there is no urgency. There's no nothing. It's just another thing that people say. So word of mouth is good, It's just not complete enough. And if you're doing these other things, what you will do is your actual word of mouth, if it's good, will carry so much water for you if you allow these other strategies to be in place, because now your word of mouth is there while they're seeing great content about the results and they're primed up, and then boom, there's an offer that they can take action on, and it's great. It goes like people will then convert right away. They see a great transformation photo or they see a really good product offer with a limited time to act. Boom, people pull the trigger.
And you give them the opportunity.
Yes.
You
There's
have
no
to make
opportunity
gaps.
in a conversation that someone else is having about you.
Correct. You just hope that you've done all the right things, and then someone pushes them, and then they're so inspired and feel so ready that they come and pry it out of your goddamn vice grip where you're not wanting to share. Another great like principle or example, I was talking to one of the local booster clubs that raises money for the local high school, and he goes, the most successful car dealership in the area. So he's got like 5 or 6 car dealerships in like 50-mile radius. And he's like, he was talking to this individual, the owner of the car dealership. He goes, you guys know that you're the only high school that comes and asks us for money. He goes, that's why we always give you money every year. They bought like new golf bags for the whole golf team last year. Like they're always ready to shell out cash. He goes, but everybody may think one thing or another. He goes, we would literally give money to every single school. He goes, but you're the only ones that come and ask. And the guy's like, I have no problem asking. So I will go every year and I will ask, and then they will give us money. And it's just like, you realize that there are people that want to give you money. They are looking for the opportunity. They may even know about you. I mean, I lived this exact experience. It is, I had a dad who wanted me to work with his kid. He knew I existed, listens to the podcast that I do, knows of me, wants to work with me, never reached out. Because why? Well, I'm not friends with him on Facebook. I haven't met him before. Like
I run a website, which is some stuff we may get into later, run a business profiles for coaches.
So that was a gap that was missing, but I happened to then be at a local networking event. He then goes, I've been wanting to get a hold of you. I need you to train my kid. What's your number? Like, and it just because I was it was right place, right time, but I'd done all the things ahead of time that then got me established. So he knew, but I was missing that piece. I was missing that opportunity. And that's where the word of mouth will only get you so far. You have to give them the opportunity to do business with you. And a lot of times it just has to happen through doing something else. You can't just sit and wait because it will take too long.
All right, guys. Well, I hope that covered a lot. There's a lot for you. I hope that we weren't just talking shit the whole time. There's a lot of good lessons. Don't take any of this personally. If you kind of settle into one of these things, it's okay. These are tough to swallow because I think a lot of people settle into these things not thinking that they're maybe misaligned with the way things should be. I think that for those of you out there, if you're one of these things is off track, just put a little bit of effort, one at a time, point things in the right direction. If you have questions about what can be done, what specific actionables can be done, get in the Gear Academy. Link is or you can go to gymownersrevolution.com, or you can shoot us a message directly on Instagram.
But it's not our fucking job to make you feel good. Like this is one of those things where like, if you're going to talk to please understand, if you're listening to anything we have to say, we're going to tell you what our belief is, our truth, and we're going to hold your ass to the fight. Like some of these things make you feel like you may not be in the In Shape Trainer Club, and that hits a little home and you feel a little offended by that. Good. It's literally our fucking job is to keep the bar high enough to keep you reaching for getting better and fucking
now
improving.
You know how your clients feel. Because you need to hold them accountable because their results matter. See, all of these things kind of work the same. This is what I like about this all. It's a fractal nature to these things. Us to you, you to them. We all want you to be successful. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be happy. We're here for you. So shoot us a message at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF I and Stone. And John?
And you can follow me on Instagram at jbanksfl.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Gear Academy is in the show notes. Facebook group is in the show notes as well. Thank you. We'll see you next week.